Hello and welcome to your physical education class for the third marking period. My name is Mr. Johnson and I'll be your teacher. Today is Thursday, February 4th, and we've had an interesting start to our marking period here. The initial plan, of course, was to be together in person at Liberty, but Old Man Winter had something to say about that. So here we are, virtual for the first entire week. Now, please don't misunderstand virtual to mean that you don't have to do anything. There are assignments that are required for this week, and they can be found in the week 1 folder. I'll show you that momentarily. The first thing I wanted to do was to just walk through how to use our fitness app. Normally, I've talked through this on Monday for the eClassroom students, but attendance was pretty poor. So remember, that's a requirement. If you're an eClassroom student, you need to be there. You are graded on your attendance. Hybrid kids, generally we go over all this in person at school, but because we didn't get a chance to do that, I wanted to put together this video so you can walk through it and hopefully have any questions answered. So the app we use is called Pacer, and you can download the app either in the iOS App Store or in the Android Play Store. This is what the icon looks like. That's what you're looking for. Download the app, install it, and create a profile. When you are creating your profile for the first time, a couple tips. First, when you click start tracking or start logging, I forget the exact verbiage, but when you click that, it's going to ask you for some personal information like your birthday and stuff like that. Top right corner of the screen, you can click skip to bypass all that. I recommend doing that just in the event it tells you, oh, you're too young to be using whatever, a pedometer. So just skip that. And then when you get to the part where you choose your email address, any email address is fine. You can use your BASD, you can use your personal, it doesn't matter. I don't see it. What I see, however, is your username. So make sure when you create your username that it's actually your name. My recommendation is that you use your first and last name, or you can use last name first initial, but be careful using just your first name. There are 38 of you in this class, and there's a decent chance that somebody may have the same name as you. So if that happens, I won't be able to give you credit because I won't know who to look at. So please make sure you make it very clear who you are with your username. Once you've created the profile, you've set up all that good stuff, you're ready to roll. The app will start to count your steps immediately. You don't need to do anything else. Now, if you have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or a Garmin or something like that, you're going to want to make sure that the app is recording the steps from your phone and not being tethered to your device. Because when that happens, sometimes your Fitbit or your Apple Watch will show a very high number of steps, but the phone does not. And the only thing I can use is the phone because that's the only data I will see when you join our class group. So if you're unsure what's going on with that, go into the Pacer app, click on the Me icon that's down in the bottom left-hand corner. When you click on that, it'll bring up the gear in the top right corner. That is your settings. Scroll down to where you're in the data and syncing area. Click on Steps Data Source, and then look to make sure the primary Steps data source is in fact your phone. You'll see there are options to connect to other things, but a lot of them are premium, meaning you would have to pay for them, and please don't pay for anything for this class. Just use your phone. Okay, so your grading works as follows. For every virtual learning day, these are days that we have school, but you are not physically at Liberty. You are responsible for attaining at least 7,000 steps. The goal is 10,000. Your grade is out of 10 points. And your grade for each submission is simply a direct decimal of the steps you walk. For example, if you walk 9,234 steps, your grade is a 9.2 out of 10. If you only walk 5,632 steps, your grade is a 5.6 out of 10. The reason we say to aim for at least 7,000 is particularly if you're an eClassroom student, that's a 70% average. That's what you need. Hybrid kids, you've got a little bit of wiggle room because you'll have in-class grades, and assuming you do everything you're supposed to at Liberty, it'll pull your average up a little bit. But for eClassroom kids, shoot for at least 7,000 so that you're maintaining a passing average throughout the course. Ideally, everyone's getting 9s and 10s, but I understand that's not always going to be possible or practical for you. So just do the best you can to get as high step totals as possible each day. How did we come up with 10,000? Pretty simple. The average person takes 5,000 steps per day. That's just normal daily living. Because this is a class that promotes physical activity, and if you were at Liberty, you would be very active, we've always used the marker of 2 miles. We've used that ever since we first shut down back in March of 2020 when we used Strava, and we've kept 2 miles. Well, 2 miles is equal to 5,000 steps, approximately. So you take the 5,000 for your normal daily living, 5,000 for some exercise, and you get 10,000 steps. That's how we came to that number. So once your day is done, this is the image that you need to capture. This is what your screenshot needs to be. Note it's got some very important things. Top right corner, there's a little calendar icon that shows the date. Very, very important that the date is part of your screenshot. I also need to be able to see today's steps, because if I can't see the steps, I can't give you credit. The other stuff, sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not overly concerned about all that information because I can verify when I check your profile. But that's what I need to see. Now, the reason there's an arrow that points to the calendar, let's say today you get really active, you get a lot of steps, you have over 10,000, which is great, and you mean to take a screenshot, but you forget. And then the next thing you know, you wake up, it's tomorrow morning, and you go, oh no, I didn't get a screenshot. What happened to all those steps? Don't worry. Don't panic. If you click on that calendar icon, it brings up all your previous days, and it will show you exactly which day you want. And then when you click on it, it brings this screen back up for that day. So your steps are never lost. You just have to go back and find them. One really neat thing is that when you click on the calendar, there's a little circle graph that shows up around the date. And that circle is based on your goal, which should be 10,000 steps. So if you see a date that has a complete circle around it, that means that was a date you got 10,000 steps. And it makes it pretty easy when determining which days you're going to choose to submit. In general, the way this works is, as I said, any day you're not physically at Liberty, yet you are in school, you have to have a submission. So, starting this weekend, starting Saturday of this coming weekend, you can use Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You can use all 7 days. Unless you're at Liberty, you can't use those days. But you can use up to 7 different days to get the number of submissions you need for the week. E-classroom students, the most you'll have are 5 submissions for a given week. If there are 5 school days, you'll have 5 submissions. That means you can pick any of the 7 to be your highest 5. For hybrid students, generally speaking, you will have 3 submissions per week. Monday, and then whatever your alternate day is. A through L, you will be in school Tuesday, so then you'll need a submission for Wednesday, you're in school Thursday, and then you'll need a submission for Friday. You don't have to use Wednesdays and Fridays, you just can't use Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's possible, if you're a hybrid student, that you could have all 3 of your submissions done for the week by Monday, because you can use Saturday steps, Sunday steps, and Monday steps, and be done for the week. If you're an e-classroom student, you can be pretty much done by the time Monday rolls around, because you would have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then you would have 4 remaining days to get 2 more submissions. So use your weekends. They are there to help you. As an important note to clarify here, you cannot use outside physical activity in lieu of steps. For example, if you're on a sports team or something like that, you can't email me and say, Mr. Johnson, I'm on the swim team and we practice every night. Does that count? The answer is no. That's a sports team. That's something you choose to do. It's great, but you don't get credit for it. Similarly, if you're in cooking class, you don't get credit for cooking your own dinner at night. So that's something you choose to do extracurricularly. However, if you can take your phone with you to whatever it is you're doing, maybe you have a job and you're working at a grocery store getting carts. You pop your phone in your pocket and you're out in the parking lot during your shift doing all that different stuff, and you get thousands upon thousands of steps, that's perfectly fine. If you can even keep your phone in your pocket during sports practice or band practice or whatever it is that you're collecting steps, that is fine. As long as I can verify that the steps actually took place, you're good. You're good to go. There just needs to be proof. So let's quick jump back here. Again, this is an example of what your screenshot must look like. If you have the Schoology app, this is very simple. It's very straightforward. You open up the app, you open up the assignment submission area, and you can just pull this picture over from your camera roll. It takes about 10 seconds. If you don't have the app and you're not comfortable with it, you're going to have to email the picture to yourself at your BASD account and then submit it as an attachment in Schoology on your Chromebook. It's a little more cumbersome, but still pretty easy. Last but not least, you need to join our course group. Once you've created a profile, open up your phone's camera and you're going to scan this QR code that you see right here. If you are an iPhone user, you may need to do this a bunch of times. I don't know what it is with iPhones, but they struggle with QR codes, particularly this one, and it's just going to keep bumping you back. It's going to take you into the App Store. It's going to say link not valid. It's going to say all sorts of different things. Just keep trying. It eventually will get there. If you have tried and tried and tried and tried and it's still not working, shoot me an email, let me know, and I'll get you a link that you can click from your phone to get into the group. Android users, generally, it's pretty straightforward for you guys. If you have Samsung, Motorola, Google Pixel, whatever, you just have to scan it using whatever device you use on your phone to scan QR codes. Every phone's a little bit different. If you're unsure how to do that, just do a quick Google search. How to scan QR codes using enter your phone. Pretty simple stuff. But once you join the group, then you should start making your submissions. Because if you make submissions and you're not in the group, you're not going to get any credit because I need to be able to verify that you've done the number of steps you're submitting. There are ways within the Pacer app that you can manipulate the data. We're very aware of it. We know how students do it. And that's why we have you join the group. Because when you manipulate the data on your own, the app still tracks what you actually did. So when I look at your profile, the profile shows you only had 3,000 steps, but you showed me a screenshot with 12,000. That's something that needs to be addressed. You'll get a 0 until we can figure out what happened. So make sure with your screenshots, final piece of advice here, make sure you have all the data included that you need, the date, the number of steps, etc. And then also be responsible and go back and check your submission. Check your grade to make sure it's the grade you think you deserve. You know if you submit 8,623 steps, you're getting an 8.6 out of 10. But maybe you did something wrong. Maybe your image was incorrect. Maybe you submitted the same day twice, and you'll see a 0. Anytime there's a 0, I will leave feedback explaining why you got a 0. So please check that feedback before you shoot me an email saying, Mr. Johnson, why do I have a 0? Make sure you look at that feedback because my response to you is going to be, please check the feedback. There are a lot of students making a lot of submissions, so I don't necessarily have time to go and double and triple check every errant submission. That's why I leave the feedback right off the bat. You can see it and you can fix it. As long as it's still that weak, you can fix the errant submission and get full credit. If you wait and it's beyond the window where I can verify the activity, you cannot receive credit. So be on top of it, be proactive, and be responsible. So that's pretty much it. That's the most important stuff. That's all the things I went over on Monday for the students that attended the Zoom. I'm going to post a Zoom here shortly, an optional Zoom for today and tomorrow for students that maybe have some more questions. But I wanted to get this video out there so if you can't attend the Zoom, that you at least have directions because there is still work due this week. Best of luck, and I'll see most of you next week. Otherwise, I'll see you virtually in the Zoom on Monday. Have a good day.